All right, so like I told you previous video, we are working on linear relationships today. This is our objective and LO. So our objective says I can represent linear relationships using verbal descriptions, tables, graphs, and equations in y equals mx plus b form. Okay? So we've already completed our warm-up. We've already completed our warm-up. Now we're going to go through our guided practice before releasing you to do your independent practice. And then, of course, if you finish your independent practice early, you're going to you can work on any of the previous pages in the workbook or on Dreambox. So let's go ahead and get started with our first guided practice problem. So it's important to notice that what it says here is to read the problem carefully because 53% of students missed this one. So that means when this problem was on the original star, 53% of the students missed it. So let's go ahead and get started with it. It says, which table contains only values that satisfy the equation y equals 0.5x plus 14? So we have to see which of these tables holds values that make that equation true, or that are true using that equation. So number one says the problem gives the equation. So what's our equation the problem gives us? Yes, y equals 0.5x plus 14. And do our answer choices are tables or graphs? Tables is correct, okay? So it says you are to choose a table that contains only values of x and y that make the equation true or false. So are we looking for values that make the equation true or false? Which says values that satisfy the equation. So that means that we're looking for true statements, right? So I'm going to have my work right here. So our equation is y equals 0.5x plus, 14. So that means that I have to work to see which of these tables has values that are true. So they all start with 0. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in my value of 0 for my x value and see if I get my y value as the answer. So y equals 0.5 and my x value is, my x value here is 0. So that means I am going to plug in 0 for my x and then plus 14. Actually, let me put this a different color. All right, so you know that that's what I'm plugging in. So now that I solved this, well, 0.5 times 0 is 0, and then 0 plus 14 is 14. So now I know that my y value, I should have 14 next to the 0 under my y column. So for this one, in my y column, I have 0. Well, I needed to have 14. So that means that A would not be it. So B, I should have 14 in my y column next to the 0. That one works. So I'm going to keep that answer. Then C, again, I have 14, which is the same thing that I got here. So I'm going to keep that answer choice. And then D, again, I have 0 and 14, which is what I needed to have next to my X column. So I'm keeping that one just to make sure it is correct. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and check 5. So I'm going to take 5 and plug it into my equation. So y equals 0.5 x. Well, instead of x, I'm going to put my value for x, which is 5. Oops. So my value for x is 5, and then plus 14, because that's what my equation says. So I have 0.5 times 5. So 5 times 5. Sorry guys, I had to sneeze. So 5 times 5 gave us 25. So we put 5, carry our 2. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. So now let's look. How many decimal spaces did we have here? 1. So that means we're going to have 1 decimal space there. We didn't have any decimal spaces here. So that means in our answer, we are going to have 1 decimal space. That means we're moving in our decimal 1 time. So that's 2.5. So that means we should have 2.5 plus 14. So we're going to do 2.5 plus 14. Whoops, I can't do that. Remember, you have to line up your decimals. So let's go ahead and do it correctly. And so I should have 14 plus 2.5. Remember, when adding, you do have to line up your decimals. I didn't have to line up my decimals for multiplying, but for adding, I do. So 0 plus 5 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then 1, I just bring it straight down. And then with adding, we just bring our decimal straight down. So we have 16.5. So we're going to look at our column, our x column, which we said 5. That's the number we multiplied. Okay, what did we get when we multiplied that? We got 16.5. That means that in our x column, we should have 16.5. Well, what do we have here? 39. So that is not our answer. Here we have 16.5. So far we've had 2 that work. That one didn't work. That one worked. This one didn't work. Let's look at D. So we know that the first one worked because that's why we kept it, and that's why we're looking at it. And then our right here next to the 5, we have 14.5. Is that what we got for our answer when we plugged in 5 for our x? No. So your answer is C. Okay. So these are a little bit of time consuming because you have to check multiple numbers. But if you look, it was easy for me to go through and say, okay, well, 0 can kind of help me eliminate some of the answer choices. Really, I could have looked and seen that there was a different number with 5 on each table. So I could have checked 5, and then that would have easily given me my answer. But it's always better to check more than one just to make sure that you are doing it correct, and so that it's not like you mess up or on multiplication end up with the wrong answer. All right.